Looney Tunes is an American series of Warner Brothers animated comedy short films. It was produced from 1930 to 1969 during the golden age of American animation, alongside its sister series, Merrie Melodies. Originally named after Walt Disney's then-concurrent Silly Symphonies musical short series, Looney Tunes initially showcased Warner-owned musical compositions through the adventures of cartoon characters such as Bosco and Buddy. However, following the Animation Studios addition of directors Tex Avery and Chuck Jones among others, as well as the voice actor Mel Blanc, Looney Tunes rose to greater fame for creating such popular cartoon stars as Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, Elmer Fudd, Sylvester, Tweety, Wile E, Coyote and the Roadrunner. The characters themselves are commonly referred to as the Looney Tunes. From 1942 into the 1960s, Looney Tunes and Merrie Melodies were the most popular cartoon shorts in movie theaters, exceeding the works of Disney and other popular competitors, including Paramount's famous studios, Universal's Walter Lantz Productions, Columbia's UPA, 20th Century Fox's Terrytoons, and MGM. Since its success during the short film era of cartoons, Looney Tunes has become a worldwide media franchise, spawning several television series, feature films, comic books, music albums, video games, and amusement park rides. Many of the characters have made and continue to make cameo appearances in various other television shows, movies and advertisements. The most popular Looney Tunes character, Bugs Bunny, is regarded as a cultural icon and has appeared in more films than any other cartoon character. Several Looney Tunes films are regarded as some of the greatest animated cartoons of all time. In 2013, TV Guide ranked Looney Tunes the third greatest cartoon of all time. History: in the beginning both Looney Tunes and Merrie Melodies drew their storylines from Warner's vast music library. From 1934 to 1943, Merrie Melodies were produced in color and Looney Tunes in black and white. After 1943, however, both series were produced in color and became virtually indistinguishable, with the only stylistic difference being in the variation between the opening theme music and titles. Both series also made use of the various Warner Brothers cartoon characters. By 1937, the theme music for Looney Tunes was The Merry-Go-Round Broke Down by Cliff Friend and Dave Franklin. The theme music for Merrie Melodies was an adaptation of Merrily We Roll Along by Charles Tobias, Murray Mencher, and Eddie Cantor. 1930–1969, in 1929, WB became interested in developing a series of musical animated shorts to promote their music. They had recently acquired the ownership of Brunswick Records along with 4 music publishers for $28 million. Consequently, they were eager to start promoting this material to cash in on the sales of sheet music and phonograph records. Warner made a deal with Leon Schlesinger to produce cartoons for WB. Schlesinger hired Rudolph Ising and Hugh Harman to produce their first series of cartoons. Bosco was Looney Tunes' first major lead character, debuting in the short Bosco, the Talking Kid in 1929. The first Looney Tunes short was Sinkin' in the Bathtub, which was released in 1930. When Harman and Ising left Warner Brothers in 1933 over a budget dispute with Schlesinger, they took with them all the rights of the characters and cartoons which they had created. A new character called Buddy became the only star of the Looney Tunes series for a couple of years. New directors including Tex Avery, Friz Freleng, and Bob Clampett were brought in to work with animators in the Termite Terrace studio. In 1935 they debuted the first truly major Looney Tunes star, Porky Pig, along with Binz the Cat in the Merrie Melody cartoon I Haven't Got a Hat directed by Friz Freleng. Binz was the star of the next Porky Beans cartoon Gold Diggers of '49, but it was Porky who emerged as the star instead of Beans. The ensemble characters of I Haven't Got a Hat, such as Oliver Owl, and twin dogs Ham and X, were also given a sampling of shorts, but demand for these characters was far exceeded by Beans and Porky. Beans himself was later phased out due to declining popularity, leaving Porky as the only star of the Schlesinger studio. This was soon followed by debuts of other memorable Looney Tunes stars. Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd, and Bugs Bunny. Bugs initially starred in the color Merrie Melodies shorts and formally joined the Looney Tunes series with the release of Buckaroo Bugs in 1944. Schlesinger began to phase in the production of color Looney Tunes with the 1942 cartoon The Hepcat. The final black-and-white Looney Tunes short was Puss in Booty in 1943, directed by Frank Tashlin. The inspiration for the changeover was Warner's decision to re-release only the color cartoons in the Blue Ribbon Classics series of Merrie Melodies. Bugs made a cameo appearance in 1942 in the Avery Clampett cartoon Crazy Cruise and also at the end of the Frank Tashlin 1943 cartoon Porky Pig's Feet, which marked Bugs' only appearance in a black-and-white Looney Tunes short. Schlesinger sold his interest in the cartoon studio in 1944 to Warner Brothers and went into retirement. He would die 5 years later. The original Looney Tunes theatrical series ran from 1930 to 1969. During part of the 1960s, the shorts were produced by DePatie Fling Enterprises after Warner Brothers shut down their animation studios. The shorts from this era can be identified by their different title sequence, featuring stylized limited animation and graphics on a black background and a new arrangement, by William Lava, of The Merry-Go-Round Broke Down. The change in the introductory title cards was possibly to reflect the switch in the animation style of the shorts themselves. 1970–1999, the Looney Tunes series' popularity was strengthened even more when the shorts began airing on network and syndicated television in the 1950s under various titles and formats. However, the Looney Tunes shorts were edited, removing scenes of violence, racial and ethnic caricatures, and questionable vices. Theatrical animated shorts went dormant until 1987 when new shorts were made to introduce Looney Tunes to a new generation of audiences. New Looney Tunes shorts have been produced and released sporadically for theaters since then, usually as promotional tie-ins with various family movies produced by Warner Brothers. While many of them have been released in limited releases theatrically for Academy Award consideration, only a few have gotten theatrical releases with movies. The last series of new shorts so far ended production in 2004. The most recently theatrically released Looney Tunes was Pulitzer Prize in 1997, shown theatrically with Cats Don't Dance. In the 1970s through the early 1990s, several feature film compilations and television specials were produced, mostly centering on Bugs Bunny and/or Daffy Duck, with a mixture of new and old footage. In 1976, the Looney Tunes characters made their way into the amusement business when they became the mascots for the two Marriott's Great America theme parks. After the Gunny Park was sold to Six Flags, they also claimed the rights to use the characters at the other Six Flags parks, which they continue to do presently. In 1988, several Looney Tunes characters appeared in cameo roles in Touchstone, Disney and Amblin's Oscar-winning epic, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The more notable cameos featured Bugs, Daffy, Porky, Tweety, Sylvester and Yosemite Sam. It is the only time in which Looney Tunes characters have shared screen time with their rivals at Disney, particularly in the scenes where Bugs and Mickey Mouse are skydiving, and when Daffy and Donald Duck are performing their dueling piano sequence. In 1988, Nickelodeon aired all the unaired cartoons in a show called Looney Tunes on Nickelodeon until 1999. To date, Looney Tunes on Nickelodeon is the longest-airing animated series on the network that was not a Nicktoon. In 1996, Space Jam, a feature film mixing animation and live action, was released to theaters starring Bugs Bunny and basketball player Michael Jordan. Despite its odd plot and mixed critical reception, the film was a major box office success, grossing nearly $100 million in the U.S. alone, almost becoming the first non-Disney animated film to achieve that feat. For a 2-year period, it was the highest-grossing non-Disney animated film ever. The film also introduced the character Lola Bunny, who subsequently became another recurring member of the Looney Tunes, usually as a love interest for Bugs. The Looney Tunes characters have also had success in the area of television, with appearances in several originally produced series, including Tasmania and the Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries. The gang also made frequent cameos in the 1990 spin-off series Tiny Toon Adventures, from executive producer Steven Spielberg, where they played teachers and mentors to a younger generation of cartoon characters, plus occasional cameos in the later Warner shows Animaniacs and Hysteria. 2000 Euro present. In 2000, WB decided to make the Looney Tunes and Merrie Melodies library exclusive to fellow Time Warner properties, specifically Cartoon Network. Immediately prior to this decision, Looney Tunes shorts were airing on several networks at once, on Cartoon Network, on Nickelodeon, and on ABC. The latter two had been particularly long-running series, and the Warner Brothers decision forced the two networks to cancel the programs. In 2003, another feature film was released, this time in an attempt to recapture the spirit of the original shorts, the live-action animated Looney Tunes, Back in Action. Although the film wasn't financially successful, it was met with relatively positive reviews from film critics and has been argued by animation historians and fans as the finest original feature-length appearance for the cartoon characters. In 2006, Warner Home Video released a new, Christmas-themed Looney Tunes direct-to-video movie called Bah, Hum Duck. A Looney Tunes Christmas featuring a wide array of characters working in a megastore under the Scrooge-esque Daffy Duck. The movie parodies the famous book by Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol. Other Looney Tunes TV series included Baby Looney Tunes, Duck Dodgers, and Loonatics Unleashed. Although the cartoons are seldom seen on mainstream TV, thanks to revival theatrical screenings, and the Golden Collection DVD box sets, the Looney Tunes and its characters have remained a part of Western animation heritage. On October 22, 2007, Looney Tunes and Merrie Melodies cartoons became available for the first time in high definition via Microsoft's Xbox Live service, including some in Spanish. From February 29 to May 18, 2008, many Looney Tunes artifacts, including original animation cells and concept drawings, were on display at the Butler Institute of American Art in Youngstown, Ohio, just off the campus of Youngstown State University. The exhibit had the studio come full circle, as the Warners were natives of the Youngstown area. Looney Tunes can currently be seen on the Kids WB website. Looney Tunes returned to Cartoon Network on January 1, 2009, as a marathon called the New Year's Day Looney Tunes Marathon, but did not air on Cartoon Network or Boomerang again until 11 months later when it returned to Cartoon Network on November 15, 2009. In 2010, Looney Tunes was taken off Cartoon Network after another New Year's marathon. At the Cartoon Network upfronts in April 2010, the Looney Tunes show was announced to premiere in November 2010. However, the series premiere was pushed back to February 2011, then it was pushed back again to May 2011. Coming from Warner Brothers Animation and producer Sam Register, the concept revolves around Bugs and Daffy leaving the woods and moving to the suburbs with colorful neighbors including Sylvester, Tweety, Granny, and of course Yosemite Sam. The show features 2-minute music videos titled respectfully Merrie Melodies, as a tribute to the Looney Tunes sister shorts, which features the characters singing original songs as well as CGI animated shorts starring Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, which were only shown during the show's first season. The Looney Tunes show debuted May 3, 2011. At approximately the same time, reruns of the classic Looney Tunes library returned to Cartoon Network's daytime lineup. Also, Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner returned to the big screen in a series of 3D shorts that preceded select Warner Brothers films. There was currently 6 in the works that began with the first short, Coyote Falls, that preceded the film Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore, which was released on July 30, 2010. On December 17, 2010, Rabbit Rider preceded the film, Yogi Bear. On June 8, 2011, Warner Brothers Animation announced that there will be more Looney Tunes 3D theatrical shorts. The first titled Daffy Rhapsody with Daffy Duck and Elmer Fudd, the next being I Taught Putty Tat with Sylvester, Tweety and Granny. Daffy Rhapsody was to precede the film Happy Feet 2, until the studio decided to premiere I Taught Putty Tat instead. Daffy Rhapsody instead premiered in 2012, preceding Journey 2, The Mysterious Island. On September 19, 2012, it was announced that a new Looney Tunes reboot film is in development. Faux Saturday Night Live cast Mama Bear Jenny Slate is already on board as writer for the new movie. Frey Clifford Ford, Harry Potter producer David Heeman and Dark Shadows writers David Katzenberg and Seth Grahame-Smith are slated to produce the film. On February 21, 2014, it was announced that a possible sequel to Space Jam was in discussion. On March 10, 2014 it was announced during Cartoon Network's Upfront 2014 that Bugs Bunny would be returning as the main star of the upcoming show Wobbity a Looney Tunes production, though no specific release date was mentioned. Licensing and ownership. When the Looney Tunes and Merrie Melodies began in 1930, although Warner Brothers retained the rights to the cartoons and the Looney Tunes and Merrie Melodies brand names, Harman and Ising owned the rights to the Bosco characters. When Harman and Ising left Warner Brothers in 1933, their former producer Leon Schlesinger started his own studio for Warner Brothers, continuing the Looney Tunes series. Harman and Ising retained the rights to Bosco and began making Bosco cartoons at Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer in 1934. However, these cartoons were not a success, and in 1937 MGM fired Harman and Ising and formed their own studio to create MGM Cartoons, with Harman and Ising retaining the rights to Bosco. Time Warner eventually acquired the characters from their estates. Meanwhile, the Schlesinger studio continued to make popular cartoons until 1944, when Schlesinger sold his studio to Warner Brothers, and since then, Warner Brothers has owned all rights to all post-1933 characters created by Leon Schlesinger Productions and Warner Brothers. Cartoons. The rights to individual cartoons, however, are in other hands. In 1955, Warner Brothers sold its black and white Looney Tunes into television syndication through their sale of the cartoons to Guild Films. The copyright to those cartoons were assigned to Censored Productions. These cartoons were distributed by Guild Films until it went bankrupt and shut down in 1961. Warner Brothers then licensed the syndication rights to Seven Arts Associated, who distributed them until their purchase of Warner Brothers in 1967. In 1956, Associated Artists Productions acquired for television most of Warner Brothers' pre-1950 library, including all Merrie Melodies and color Looney Tunes shorts that were released prior to August 1948. Unlike the sale to Censored Productions, AAP was allowed to keep the Warner titles intact and simply inserted an Associated Artists Productions Presents title at the head of each reel. AAP was later sold to United Artists, who merged the company into its television division United Artists Television. In 1981, UA was sold to MGM, and 5 years later, Ted Turner acquired the pre-May 1986 MGM library. He also acquired the rights to the AAP library. In 1996, Turner's company, Turner Broadcasting System, was purchased by Time Warner, who also owned Warner Brothers today. Warner Home Video holds the video rights to the entire Looney Tunes Merrie Melodies animated output by virtue of Time Warner's ownership of Turner Entertainment. This is why the Looney Tunes Golden Collection DVD box sets include cartoons from both the pre-848's Turner-owned and post-748's Warner Brothers-owned periods. As of 2013, all Warner Brothers animated output are under the same Time Warner umbrella of ownership. Starting in 1960, the cartoons were repackaged into several different TV programs that remained popular for several decades before being purchased by Turner Broadcasting Systems. Turner's Cartoon Network rerun the cartoons for 12 years, from their start in 1992 until 2004, and intermittently since then. Several dozen Looney Tunes and Merrie Melodies shorts from before approximately 1945 have lapsed into the public domain and are thus freely distributed through various unofficial releases. Many of these public domain cartoons generally have poor picture and sound quality than the ones under copyright. The exclusive sculpturing license for all Looney Tunes characters is currently owned by American animator and sculptor David Krakow. Filmography. Censorship, A handful of Looney Tunes and Merrie Melodies shorts are no longer aired on American television, nor are they available for sale by Warner Brothers because of the racial and ethnic stereotypes of black people, American Indians, Asians such as Japanese, Chinese, and Germans included in some of the cartoons. 11 cartoons that prominently featured stereotypical black characters were withdrawn from distribution in 1968 and are known as the Censored 11. In 1999 all Speedy Gonzales cartoons were removed from airing on Cartoon Network because of their alleged stereotyping of Mexicans. When many Hispanics protested that they were not offended, and fondly remembered Speedy Gonzales cartoons as a representation of their youth and nation's individuality, these shorts were made available for broadcast again in 2002. In addition to these most notorious cartoons, many Warner Brothers cartoons contain fleeting or sometimes extended gags that reference then common racial or ethnic stereotypes. The release of the Looney Tunes Golden Collection, Volume 3 includes a disclaimer at the beginning of each DVD in the volume given by Whoopi Goldberg, which explains that the cartoons are products of their time and contain racial and ethnic stereotypes that were wrong then and they are wrong today, but the cartoons are presented on the DVD uncut and uncensored because editing them would be the same as denying that the stereotypes existed. A written disclaimer, similar to the words spoken by Goldberg in Volume 3, is shown at the beginning of each DVD in the Looney Tunes Golden Collection, Volume 4, Volume 5, and Volume 6 sets, as well as the Daffy Duck and Foghorn Leghorn Looney Tunes Superstars sets and the Warner Brothers Home Entertainment Academy Awards Animation Collection. The cartoons you are about to see are products of their time. They may depict some of the ethnic and racial prejudices that were commonplace in the U.S. society. These depictions were wrong then and they are wrong today. While the following does not represent the Warner Brothers' view of today's society, these cartoons are being presented as they were originally created, because to do otherwise would be the same as claiming that these prejudices never existed. Accolades, selected shorts inducted into the National Film Registry, What's Opera, Doc. Selected in 1992, Duck Amuck, selected in 1999, Porky and Wacky selected in 2000, One Froggy Evening, selected in 2003, selected shorts that won Academy Awards for Best Short Subject, Tweety Pie, For Sentimental Reasons, Speedy Gonzales, Birds Anonymous, Nighty Night Bugs, selected Academy Award nominations, A Wild Hare, Greetings Bait, Swooner Crooner, Walkie Talkie Hawkie, Mouse Wreckers, From A to ZZZZ, Sandy Claus, Tabasco Road, Mexi Sali Schmoes, Mouse and Garden, High Note, Now Hear This, Related Media, Television Series, The Bugs Bunny Show, The Road Runner Show, Tiny Toon Adventures, Tarsmania, The Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, Baby Looney Tunes, Duck Dodgers, Lunatics Unleashed, The Looney Tunes Show, Wobbit a Looney Tunes production, feature films, Bugs Bunny, Superstar, The Bugs Bunny Road Runner Movie, The Looney Bugs Bunny Movie, Bugs Bunny's Third Movie, 1001 Rabbit Tales, Daffy Duck's Movie, Fantastic Island, Daffy Duck's Quickbusters, Space Jam, Looney Tunes, Back in Action, Comic Books, Looney Tunes and Merrie Melodies Comics No. 1-165 Bugs Bunny No. 1-85 Porky Pig No. 1-81 Daffy Duck No. 1-30 Looney Tunes No. 166-246 Bugs Bunny No. 86-245 Daffy Duck No. 31-145 Porky Pig No. 1-109 Looney Tunes No. 1-47 Bugs Bunny No. 1-3. No. 1-3 Looney Tunes No. 1 Present, Video Games. See also: Merrie Melodies, Warner Brothers. Cartoons, List of Looney Tunes and Merrie Melodies characters, Looney Tunes and Merrie Melodies filmography, 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 Looney Tunes and Merrie Melodies filmography. List of Warner Brothers cartoons with blue ribbon reissues, references. External links, official Looney Tunes site, Looney Tunes at the Big Cartoon Database.